Shopping local, supporting your local community, living a sustainable lifestyle. What else can we do to support our little planet in a positive way? This video is sponsored by Sunnyside Rural Trust. More on them in just a moment. Of course, this is a food channel, so I've got lots of yummy and inventive recipe ideas for you. So stick around to the end of the video because you don't want to miss this. Welcome back to Vegan Food at Home. My name is Dan. Thanks for choosing to join me here today. We've got lots of things to come. I'm really excited to share with you some of the really delicious recipes that I've designed for this video. Now, every recipe that I have designed, just bear in mind that they've been designed alongside some of the ingredients that have been supplied to me today by the sponsor of our video. And this is really just a demonstration today on how you can cook delicious, beautiful food from locally sourced ingredients. And today's awesome sponsor is Sunnyside. They are a charity and a social enterprise that are very dear to my heart, and they are based in Hertfordshire. They are a huge part of their local community and surrounding areas. Sunnyside primarily offer training and work experience to young people and adults with learning disabilities. Trainees are given opportunities over a number of sites in rural and retail activities, and the list of activities is amazing. They do beekeeping, they do landscaping. Sunnyside have shops and cafes where their trainees can interact with the general public, whether it's garden maintenance, growing fruit and veg for their local market, local events, or just looking after the happy chickens. Sunnyside has the ability to offer new opportunities each day, and they continue to grow. With every penny that is donated and with every pound that is made through products and services that they offer, Sunnyside can continuously move forward and be a huge support to those people that they are there to support. On top of all these amazing things that Sunnyside do, it can be a place of tranquility and calm for anybody else who is looking for a little bit of support in their own lives. There is something about the idea of a community feel that really makes you feel warm and wanted. And Sunnyside really hit that nail on the head every time. As far as I'm concerned, every town, business and world leader should take a look at the values and the efforts of Sunnyside and take notes. We can learn how to adapt our way of living to start doing more for the planet and doing more for the people that live in our communities. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what you sound like, everybody deserves an equal opportunity. Visit Sunnyside and you'll know exactly what I mean. I'll leave a link for their website in the description box below. Please check that out and support however you can. The first thing that I'm gonna make is a mushroom and walnut pate. So this is really delicious, obviously using a lot of fresh veg, a few different spices and that sort of thing, and then some walnuts. The walnuts are fairly optional, but I really think they add a great texture. These are gonna go along with a few homemade crackers and a few other little additions. We'll get to that in a moment, but first let's make this mushroom and walnut pate. So I'm feeling really good about this recipe because I'm actually going to use a lot of ingredients that were left over from something the other night. We made some sourdough pizzas. If you want the recipe, let me know. I can always show you. I've got some mushrooms and some onions and that sort of thing. I've also added in some additional button mushrooms as well to get up to that level of 300 grams that I'm going to use. But yeah, I've cooked these up, sauteed them up in the pan with some cider vinegar and some herbs. I think I used dried rosemary, some basil and some thyme as well. A ton of garlic and also a couple of teaspoons of mustard powder as well, just for that little kick and that little depth of flavor. I've already salted these to cook, so I probably won't put any more salt in, but once these go into the blender, I'll definitely chuck some cracked black pepper in there as well for some more seasoning. So these can actually go straight in. Wonderful. Now the next thing, I've got some fresh walnuts as well. There's no need for you to soak these or anything. So we'll throw the walnuts in. And the last thing that we've got is some parsley as well, some fresh parsley. I've just previously picked this off of a plant. That's gonna go straight in. This is gonna add a final, last perfect piece of seasoning, I think. I'll get that all in top. I'm gonna put quite a generous amount. We're gonna chuck this on just a low speed to start with. So I'm just gonna stop this for a moment and show you exactly the texture. So it's quite chunky at the moment. Now what you can do is keep going with the blending and you can speed it up a little bit, but it's important to bear in mind that you don't have to have this as a really smooth paste. You can have it a bit chunky and kind of rustic if you like. So stop it a few times, don't leave it going for a long time, because you might find that you want to stop it maybe just short of a super fine paste to add a bit of texture, like I say. So I'm going to blend this up a little bit more and let's see how it turns out. Perfect. I'm going to place this into a dish and pop it into the fridge, and then let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so I've had a bit of a tidy up and got the next recipes ready. These are going to be plain crackers, and I'm also going to do some seeded crackers as well. Now these are really simple recipes that I've put together here. You can really play around with them. You can use regular flour if you really wanted to. That might do a better job of holding these together, but I really like the outcome of these. This one, as I said, is going to be really plain and quite light and crunchy, and hopefully when you break it, it's going to have that real snap to it. And then these seeded ones will be a little bit more fuller in terms of texture, but I think the balance of these two will be great. Hello, got the dog down here with me. With these ones, the seeded ones, I'm just going to take just a small amount, about the size of a large grape maybe, and I'm going to place it. So I've just kind of squashed it into a little ball here. Push it down with your hand and then grab the rolling pin and just roll over it. And then what you've got, I'll tip this out into my hand so I can show you. So you're left with like a nice thin pancake kind of, and that's how thin it was. And I'll just show you, it should be thin enough that it will tear. I'll redo this one, but I'll just show you. See how easily it's tearing? It should be that thin. It just means that the cooking time is a little bit less, and just means that these crackers aren't gonna be really filling and really thick. So a nice little flimsy little cracker there. Obviously, once you bake this, both of these are going to be baked for 12 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, fan oven that I've got here. So once this bakes up, it's going to be nice and crispy, and they'll both turn golden brown, and that's going to be perfect. You can snap it, dip it in that lovely mushroom pate that I've made, and a few other of the lovely dips and stuff. Sounds good to me. I'm going to quickly rush through all of these, and then I'll show you what to do with the next ingredients. The next one I'm going to do is just the plain crackers here. So I'm going to do a very similar thing. I'll start with a little bit like that. Just going to roll this out like this, and then I've got a little round cookie cutter. Oh, perfect, look at that. I was hoping that would work. Lovely. That looks like a baby tortilla. It's broken a little bit. I think I've rolled it a little bit too thin. So let's just go ahead and do that. Get it to a nice thickness, as you see, kind of that suits, and just roll these out. When you're making these, you don't have to do circles. If you don't have a little cutter, that's fine. I just want to be fancy. Cool, I'll rush through these and then we'll chuck them in the oven. Okay, all the crackers are done. I've got some nice round ones here. There's about 15, and I've got about 20 because they're a little bit thinner of the seeded crackers. I'm going to throw this into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius. I've got a fan oven, and this is going to go for about 12 minutes, both of them. No need to put anything onto the baking sheet. I haven't when I previously made these, and they turned out just fine. They'll go a little bit golden brown and crispy. Make sure you don't overcook them. These nuts will burn quite easily if they go over kind of 15 minutes. So make sure you keep an eye on them when they're cooking. And the next time you see these, we'll be on a delicious platter full of some delicious dips and treats. I hope you've enjoyed the first part of the video. Obviously, I could only squeeze a few recipes in there, but I do have a recipe for homemade mozzarella and sourdough baguettes and stuff like that that I've used on the platter. And obviously alongside those delicious things like the mushroom pate and the crackers that I've shown you how to make, we've got some sunny side jams and sunny side chutneys. Absolutely delicious, go well with just about anything. And obviously you saw us enjoying that delicious sunny side apple juice, which is pressed from local apples, and there's absolutely nothing in there apart from apple juice. It's nice and tart and nice and sweet at the same time. It's absolutely delicious. It's the best apple juice I've ever tried. I don't know how they do it. They do a really good job. They sell so much of it. If you're ever down at Sunnyside, grab yourself a bottle of apple juice, you won't regret it. Now moving on, I'm gonna make you a salad for lunch. I'm gonna show you a couple of things that you can do to enhance your salad making, and it really isn't hard. What I'm gonna do is get some broccoli. I'm gonna oven bake that for 15 to 20 minutes, and in the last 5 minutes of that, I'm gonna place in some sliced almonds as well for some nuttiness. So that broccoli is gonna get baked in the oven with just a really small marinade of olive oil, lemon, salt, pepper, and garlic as well. So that's gonna get just brushed all over the top. That will cook up nicely. Alongside this, I'm gonna use some chard as well. Now this is something that you can get lots and lots of at Sunnyside. It's really, really delicious. It's basically a large, thick-stemmed spinach. It's really quite an interesting, tasty leaf, and it's really great to cook with because it doesn't get too soft and soggy. Now what I'm gonna do is just steam mine for 2 minutes, that's it, and then place it into the bowl. This is gonna go alongside some other vegetables that you'll see me chopping in just a moment. I love to grate carrot into my salads. I love to do spring onions. A lot of these vegetables I'll be using are either picked from our garden or supplied from Sunnyside. The tomatoes are shop bought, but let's be honest guys, not everything can be bought locally every single day. And I just want you to bear that in mind. Nobody's asking you to be perfect. The message that I'm trying to deliver today is just that if you can try your best to shop locally as much as possible, go for it. There's so many things on offer, you know, potatoes, broccoli, onions. There's so many things that can be grown locally and are available in abundance. I understand there's a lot of nuts that I use in my recipes and they may not be sourced locally, but it's about finding a balance. And it's not just with food as well. If you can find a balance with all things that you buy, making sure that you don't buy too many things from abroad and you don't buy too many unnecessary things and you don't waste too many things. That's really what living sustainably is all about, you know, making sure that you care for your environment and your communities as much as possible. Sometimes you have to kind of break your own rules a little bit, and that's okay because we can't all be perfect, but if we work towards something that is perfect, we're much more likely to get there. Imagine if everybody in the world took 50% of their goods that they bought and made sure that they were sourced from somewhere that was less than 50 miles away, say. Imagine what problems that would solve. People stopped buying food from abroad because we were able to grow so many things in our own countries. People stopped buying products from abroad because we were able to produce those things with smaller companies, family-run businesses. That's a really great thought, thinking that we could be there one day, and we could move even closer if you just start buying your vegetables from the local market. Try it out, see how you feel about it. You may even find the vegetables taste nicer if you're buying them from the correct places, and especially if you're cutting out a lot of packaged goods, you're potentially looking at a healthy diet and a happier lifestyle. Let's get stuck into this salad because I'm super hungry and I need some lunch. This next recipe is going to be an absolutely amazing, delicious rhubarb and ginger curry. I've also magically got my hands onto some rhubarb and ginger jam from Sunnyside as well. So not only am I going to have some fresh rhubarb, fresh ginger in this curry, I'm also going to be placing in the rhubarb jam, which is going to sweeten this up deliciously. And actually this works really well because I use a little bit of vinegar, and also the rhubarb itself is a little bit bitter. So those two flavors will balance out with that rhubarb and ginger jam and just create really wonderful tastes alongside all the spices that go into here. And obviously you're gonna get some more well-rounded sweetness from the coconut milk. And we're also gonna finish this off with some lemon rice as well. Some really fantastic lemon rice. I just use lemon juice and lemon zest in the white rice when I'm cooking it through. It's really as simple as that. Check out the recipes in the description box below for anything that you've seen today. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know through my Instagram, or you can let me know in the comments down below. So I do have one final little treat for you. I'm actually going to be making a dessert out of some beetroot. Now I know that sounds pretty crazy, but stick with me, I promise you, this really is a fantastically delicious dessert. It's a little bit interesting, slightly complicating, but not really, because the ingredients tend to be fairly simple. So let's get stuck into this. I'm gonna start by peeling this beetroot here. Now the reason that I'm using beetroots is this is something that Sunnyside have a lot of, and obviously the theme of this video is that I'm using local ingredients that are sourced from places like Sunnyside, and this is really to encourage you guys watching this video, you know, to go out to your local places and the places that grow things locally and find inventive ways to use them. I mean, beetroots, for instance, these can be quite boring. Before I came up with this recipe, I didn't really do much with beetroot, apart from maybe make some hummus or roast them along with some roast potatoes and stuff like that. So this is a really fantastic way of getting that true colour and the flavour in something that is completely different. Obviously, this is going to be sweet. Now, you might be thinking, isn't it a little bit strange to have earthy beetroot along with a sweet dessert? But it's absolutely not, I promise you. So the great thing about this recipe, probably the best thing, is it is quite easy in terms of cooking. So I'm not going to cook these beetroots. I'm just going to throw everything into the blender, everything raw, and then I'm going to throw it into the pan and cook it through. And we're going to actually place some arrowroot powder in, so like a corn flour alternative that I like to use. And that will actually allow the mixture to thicken up a little bit. And what we're going for today is similar to a panna cotta. So you're going to have a nice thick set custard-like dessert. And then on top of that, a little treat that I'll tell you about in just a moment. So these beetroots can go straight into the blender jug like this. And like I said before, this is not just going to be good for flavour, this is also going to give your dessert a really amazing colour, which I think is just as important as flavour sometimes when it comes to eating and creating your food. Okay, great. So the next one that we're going to go for is some soy milk. You can use soy milk or oat milk, whatever you like. I'm going to use 1 cup, 250 millilitres. We've also got a tin of coconut milk as well, so I'm going to place that straight in. Here I've got some vanilla essence as well. This is going to add a nice depth of flavour, a little bit more sweetness as well, so 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence. And for some really well-rounded sweetness as well, I've got some maple syrup. I'm going to place this onto my blender, get it nice and smooth and consistent, and then once that's done, I'm going to place it into the saucepan along with the arrowroot powder that I've got, the corn flour alternative, and I'm going to whisk that through continuously for about 4 or 5 minutes until it gets a little bit thicker. And as soon as it does start to thicken up, just cook it for maybe one minute longer and take it off the heat. Then it's ready to serve into your dishes. You really want to make sure that you don't overcook this, just to make sure that the mixture doesn't thicken in the wrong way. So once your mixture is finished cooking, place that into the ramekins. You can see here how thick it is, and it does start to solidify very quickly after you take it off that heat. So make sure you act quickly, and these will go into the refrigerator for about 3 to 4 hours to solidify, and then they're ready to serve. Moving on to the banana ice cream. This is simply frozen bananas that I've frozen for about 3 or 4 hours, placed them into a blender, made a banana ice. It's a bit strange when you first take it out of the blender, but place that into a suitable dish for the freezer, squash it into the pan and freeze for a further 3 to 4 hours. Scoop it out and you've got banana, 1 ingredient banana ice cream. Absolutely delicious. And finally, what I did with this recipe to make it really interesting is I added in some banana skins. Now we're gonna cook these up, caramelize them in the pan, and these are gonna be the garnish for our dessert. And yes, you can eat banana skins, absolutely delicious. I've sliced these into little slices and I'm gonna add a tiny bit of oil into the pan, cook them for probably 4 to 5 minutes. You do wanna make sure that these soften quite well and that you take away the bitter flavor. So have a little taste throughout the cooking process. Just watch your mouth because they will be hot. And then the last 30 seconds, all I want you to do is add some maple syrup into that pan and swirl it round. Take the pan off the heat after that 30 seconds pretty quickly because you don't want any of the sugars to burn. And there you have it, caramelized banana skin, delicious. Thanks very much for enjoying the long YouTube video today. It's definitely been challenging for me to compile all these recipes into one video, but it's been fun for me. I hope it has been for you. Today's video has been for a really good cause, supporting Sunnyside Rural Trust, who we've spoken about throughout the video. Please support them in any way. Again, I'll leave their website link in the description box below. Anyone that's already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. And anyone who's looking for more content like mine, please click that red subscribe button. You won't regret it. Leave me a thumbs up as well and let me know how I'm doing in the description box below. All of those things help me and motivate me to make more videos for you guys. I do want to mention just one last thing about Sunnyside. If you head to the Hemel Food Garden site, all the details are on the website. At the Hemel Food Garden, they sell lots of plants, and at the moment they've got a massive, unique range of things to buy. Head down there, grab yourself a delicious coffee, buy some goods from the shop, maybe some vegetables, and pick up a load of plants. You won't regret it. Thanks very much for watching today's video. I look forward to seeing you next time.